Welcome back, everybody, to the deep dive. This time, we're going deep into the world of Elon Musk,
Ooh.
the entrepreneur, the innovator,
Yeah.
and the man some are calling a hidden president.
Interesting.
We'll be looking at excerpts from Texcale
Okay.
to try and understand how a tech CEO ends up being discussed
Yeah.
in a political context.
It's a fascinating question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because at first glance, Musk's world of electric vehicles and space rockets seems so far removed from
Right.
Washington, D.C.
Right. But then again, technology shapes all of our lives in really profound ways.
Yeah.
And the people who control that technology,
Yeah.
they have a lot of power
Yeah.
to influence the way things go.
Exactly. Think about it.
Yeah.
If you're a government looking to regulate a new industry,
Okay.
who do you turn to for expertise?
Right.
It's the companies leading the charge,
Mm-hmm.
in many cases.
Yeah.
That means figures like Elon Musk.
Okay, so before we get too deep into the hidden president idea,
Yeah.
let's back up for a second.
Okay.
For those who may not be totally familiar with Musk's full story,
Okay.
this source lays out a pretty classic prodigy narrative.
Oh.
Coding video games at 12, selling his first company
Okay.
before he was 30.
Wow.
This guy just seems to have always been destined
Yeah.
for big things.
Yeah, and what's really interesting is that even in those early ventures,
Yeah.
you can see these seeds of what would become Musk's signature style.
Mm.
Take Zip2, for instance, the web software company he co-founded
Okay.
back in the late 90s.
Okay.
It provided business directories and mapping services.
Okay.
Essentially early versions of things we totally take for granted today,
Right.
like Google Maps.
Mm-hmm.
Even back then, he was tackling problems that would change
Yeah.
the way we interact with the world.
And then, of course, there's PayPal,
Oh, yeah.
which totally revolutionized online payments
Totally.
and really laid the groundwork for the entire e-commerce boom we see today.
For sure.
It's crazy to think how much of our modern world is built on foundations
Yeah.
that Musk helped create.
Absolutely. And you know what sets him apart from,
Mhm.
say, a more traditional tech entrepreneur?
Yeah.
Is the sheer scale
Yeah.
of his ambition.
Right.
This source calls him a visionary entrepreneur.
Mm.
And that's not just hyperbole.
Yeah.
Sustainable energy with Tesla,
Right.
colonizing Mars with SpaceX,
Huh?
merging humans and AI through Neuralink.
Right.
These aren't incremental improvements,
Yeah.
They're the paradigm shifts.
Right. It's like he's looking at all the world's biggest challenges
Right.
and just saying, challenge accepted.
Totally.
Speaking of impossible goals,
Yeah.
SpaceX's whole mission is about making humanity a multiplanetary species.
Uh-huh.
What does that even mean?
Right.
Beyond just sending astronauts to Mars, are we really talking about moving to another planet?
Maybe not in our lifetime, but the long-term vision is all about ensuring humanity's survival.
Okay.
Musk believes that becoming multiplanetary is essential to mitigate risks,
Okay.
like asteroid impacts
Yeah.
or even
Okay.
self-inflicted disasters here on Earth.
I see.
It's a pretty radical idea.
Yeah.
And whether or not it's actually feasible
Right.
is up for debate,
Yeah.
but it definitely captures the imagination.
It does.
Yeah.
And even if we don't all end up on Mars,
Yeah.
the technologies SpaceX is developing
Yeah.
are having a massive impact already.
Yeah.
Reusable rockets
Uh-huh.
are revolutionizing space travel,
Sure.
making it way more affordable
Yeah.
and accessible.
Yeah.
And then there's Starlink,
Right.
this satellite internet constellation that's bringing high-speed internet
Yeah.
to even the most remote parts of the world.
That's a great example of how Musk's companies can
Yeah.
have this ripple effect
Right.
that goes way beyond their initial goals. Starlink isn't just about providing internet access.
Yeah.
It's about connecting people, fostering education, opening up economic opportunities in places that were totally isolated before.
Yeah.
What do you find most striking about the impact of SpaceX, listener?
For me, it's that sense of possibility. Like, we're just on the edge of a
Yeah.
whole new era
Yeah.
of space exploration.
Yeah, for sure.
But let's shift gears for a second
Okay.
and talk about Tesla.
Okay.
I mean, electric cars are cool and all,
Hmm.
but what I find really compelling is Musk's vision
Yeah.
of a sustainable energy ecosystem.
Oh, yeah.
He's not just building cars, right?
Right.
He's building a future where clean energy powers everything.
Exactly.
That's a key distinction.
Yeah.
Tesla's impact isn't just about reducing carbon emissions from vehicles.
Right.
It's about transforming the way we generate and consume energy.
Right.
They're building a network of supercharger stations. Right.
Developing solar roofs that turn houses into little power plants.
Totally.
And creating these massive battery storage systems to smooth out the fluctuations of renewable energy sources.
That's right.
It's a totally systemic approach.
Yeah.
It's not just about a product.
Right.
It's about a whole system.
Exactly.
I remember reading that Musk's original master plan for Tesla, like way back in 2006, outlined this very strategy.
Wow.
It's incredible how he's managed to stay so focused on this long-term vision while also just navigating all these complexities of building a global car company.
It's a huge undertaking.
Yeah.
And while Tesla has certainly faced its share of criticisms, especially regarding their labor practices and these production delays, there's just no denying that they've really pushed the entire automotive industry toward electrification.
Okay, so we've got electric cars, space travel. What else does this guy have up his sleeve?
Right.
The source mentions Neuralink, which is working on these brain-computer interfaces.
Oh, wow.
Now, this is where things get really interesting. We're talking about the potential to treat neurological disorders, enhance cognitive abilities, and even merge our minds.
That's computers.
That's wild.
It's a company that really pushes the boundaries of what we thought was possible. Imagine a world where paralysis is no longer a limitation, where Alzheimer's can be treated, where communication happens at the speed of thought.
Wow.
These are the things Neuralink is exploring.
That's incredible.
It sounds like sci-fi, but they're actually making progress.
Really?
They've already implanted devices in animals that allow them to control computers with their minds.
That's amazing.
Of course, there are huge ethical considerations here.
Of course.
Who has access to this technology?
How do we prevent its misuse?
Right.
Huge questions.
Absolutely. The potential for both good and harm is really immense, which is why it's so important to be having these conversations now before these technologies become so widespread. We need to establish ethical frameworks and regulations that ensure responsible development and deployment.
It's a lot to wrap your head around, listener.
It is.
But it's the kind of stuff that keeps me up at night in a good way.
Yeah.
And then there's the boring company.
Oh, yeah.
Which, compared to Neuralink, might seem a little more down to earth, but only literally.
Yeah.
Musk is tackling traffic
by
digging tunnels under cities.
Interesting.
Again, it's not just about digging tunnels.
Right.
The Boring Company's goal is to revolutionize transportation in cities by creating high-speed underground networks for cars, pods, even Hyperloop systems.
Wow.
So we've got electric cars.
Space travel, brain implants, and tunnels under our cities.
Wow.
It's clear that Musk's companies are having a big impact on the world.
Yeah.
But how does this translate into political power?
Right.
That's what I'm really curious about. That's where this whole hidden president thing comes in.
Right. And to understand that, we need to talk about
Yeah.
how influence actually works in the 21st century.
Okay.
It's not just about holding an elected office anymore.
So how does Musk wield this influence? Is
Word.
it just about his wealth and his company's reach?
Mm-hmm.
Or is there something more?
There's definitely more to it. In the next part of our deep dive,
Okay.
we'll explore how Musk uses his platform, his personality, and even his presence online to shape narratives and influence public opinion.
Okay.
We'll unpack this whole hidden president theory and see how his actions affect things far beyond the boardrooms of his companies.
Stay tuned, listener. We're just getting started.
You know, it's interesting how we associate political power with these traditional figures like presidents and politicians. But in today's world, influence can come from unexpected places.
That's true.
Yeah.
And Elon Musk is a great example.
He is.
We've talked about his companies, but what about his personal influence?
Yeah.
How does he shape narratives, sway public opinion without actually holding any elected office?
Well, one way is through his masterful use of social media.
Right.
He has a huge following on places like Twitter, X as it's called now.
Right.
And he uses it to directly engage with the public, share his ideas, spark debate on a wide range of topics.
Yeah, his tweets make headlines all the time.
They do.
Whether he's talking about the future of AI, promoting Dogecoin, even weighing in on political issues.
Yeah.
It's like he's bypassing traditional media and creating his own news cycle.
Exactly. And because he's not bound by the same constraints as politicians or corporations.
Right.
He can be way more outspoken, take risks that others wouldn't, which allows him to connect with people on a more personal level, build this loyal following who see him as a thought leader and disruptor.
Disruptor for sure.
Yeah.
He's not afraid to challenge conventional wisdom.
Right.
That's a big part of his appeal.
Yeah.
But this source specifically mentions Donald Trump's return to Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
X, and the speculation of a possible collaboration with Musk.
Okay.
Now, that's a dynamic that could shake things up.
It's a fascinating scenario, isn't it?
It is.
You have these two individuals who totally get the power of media, public perception, each with their own loyal following and unique strengths.
Okay.
Trump, the former president, with a knack for connecting with a certain segment of the population.
Okay.
And Musk, the tech innovator.
Yeah.
With a global platform and a reputation for pushing boundaries.
Yeah. So what could a collaboration between these two even look like? And what might their combined influence mean for policy in areas like technology, space, even energy?
Well, it's hard to say for sure, but we can speculate a bit based on their past actions and stated goals. Trump has said he's interested in returning to politics. And Musk has always been pushing for policies that support his company's ambitions.
Imagine a scenario where Musk's influence helps shape like a new space race with SpaceX leading the way or a push for deregulation in the tech sector that benefits Tesla and Neuralink. It's not hard to see how their interests could align.
It's not, no.
And that's where this hidden president idea comes in. Even though Musk doesn't hold any official office, his influence could be just as significant, maybe even more significant than an elected official.
Yeah.
He can shape public opinion, lobby for policies, even influence elections.
Wow.
Is that concerning, though?
It's a fair question.
Shouldn't we be wary of unelected people having this much power?
That's a great point.
What about accountability?
Right. That's a really valid concern.
Yeah.
It's a question at the heart of this whole discussion.
Yeah.
Is it good or bad for someone like Musk to have this much influence without being elected?
Right. And on one hand, he's not beholden to voters or political parties.
Right.
He can act quickly and decisively, not slowed down by bureaucracy, the gridlock that plagues governments.
Right.
But on the other hand, there's this whole question of transparency and accountability.
Right.
How do we hold someone like Musk accountable for the consequences of his actions when he's not subject to the same checks and balances as our elected officials?
It's a tricky situation.
It is.
And it raises questions about the nature of power, influence in the digital age.
Where do we draw the line between private companies and public responsibility?
Yeah.
Do we need new rules to make sure there's accountability for people with so much influence, no matter their official position? What do you think, listener?
I think it's also important to acknowledge that Musk isn't always pushing an agenda.
Okay.
He's known for sparking conversations. Challenging assumptions, encouraging us to think critically about the future.
Like when he talks about the risks of AI, the need for a multi-planetary civilization, he's not necessarily saying this is what we have to do. It's more like, hey, these are things we need to be thinking about.
That's right.
Exactly.
He's being a provocateur, a catalyst for these big discussions. And that in itself is a powerful form of influence.
For sure.
It's not just what he does, it's what he makes us think about.
That's right.
Exactly. And that's the interesting thing about his hidden president persona. He's not just shaping policies. He's shaping how we think about the future. Okay. So we've gone through Elon Musk, the entrepreneur. Elon Musk, the innovator. Elon Musk, the hidden president. We've touched on the ethical stuff.
Yeah.
Potential consequences of his influence.
Right.
But what does it all mean for us? How might Musk's actions impact our lives in the years to come?
That's the big question, isn't it?
Yeah.
And in the last part of our deep dive, we'll explore some key areas to watch.
Okay.
Trends to keep an eye on. Questions to think about.
Right.
As Musk's influence keeps growing. Stay with us, listener.
Yeah.
We're going even deeper. We've talked about Elon Musk, the entrepreneur, Elon Musk, the innovator, and even Elon Musk, the hidden president. But what does the future really hold for this complex and influential guy?
It's a great question.
Yeah.
And while no one has a crystal ball or anything,
Of course,
there are a few areas where Musk's influence is likely to be felt the strongest.
Okay, I'm all ears.
Okay.
What should we be looking out for?
Well, first and foremost, keep an eye on AI.
Artificial intelligence.
Yeah, we talked about Neuralink and its goals.
Right.
But AI research is moving so fast.
It is.
Across so many different areas. Musk has been a champion of AI. But also a really cautious voice. Highlighting the potential.
Yeah.
But also warning about the risks.
He famously said that AI is potentially more dangerous than nukes.
Yeah.
That's a pretty stark warning coming from someone who's so involved in actually developing it.
Yeah, it really underscores the need for careful thought, ethical frameworks as AI gets more sophisticated.
Right. What happens to jobs when machines can do them better than us?
Exactly.
How do we make sure AI is used for good?
Right.
These are questions we all need to be thinking about. It's like we're on the edge of this tech revolution that's both exciting and a little scary.
It is.
Another area where Musk is pushing things forward is space.
Of course.
His vision of a multiplanetary civilization might sound like sci-fi.
Yeah.
But SpaceX is really making it happen.
They are.
Reusable rocket Starlink, that's just the beginning. He's got a sight set on Mars.
He does.
And if he gets us there, that'll be one of humanity's biggest achievements ever.
I think so.
It's hard to even imagine the impact.
It is.
On how we see ourselves, our place in the universe, the possibilities for the future.
It would be like the age of exploration.
Right.
But on a cosmic scale.
Exactly. And with that comes a whole bunch of new challenges. Who's going to govern these settlements? How are resources going to be shared?
Right.
Will we see new industries up there? Maybe even conflicts?
It's possible.
These are questions we'll have to face as we expand beyond Earth. It's almost too much to think about. And of course, there's still that question of Musk's political influence. Will he keep using his platform to push for certain policies? Might we see him in government one day?
I mean, it's possible.
He's shown he's not afraid to get into those debates. And his influence is only growing. Some people say he's already a shadow president, shaping things through his companies, his investments, what he says publicly.
Whether you agree with his views or not. Right. He's a force to be reckoned with.
He is.
Disruptor, visionary, catalyst for change. His actions are going to shape our world for years to come.
So, listener, as you go about your day, keep these questions in the back of your mind. Pay attention to the news, follow the developments in AI and space, and think about how this stuff might impact your life. The future is being shaped right now. And we all need to be informed, engaged, ready to be part of the conversation.
And remember, sometimes the most important thing isn't having all the answers. It's asking the right questions.
Great point to end on.
Thanks
for joining us on this deep dive
Corey.
Into the world of Elon Musk.
It's been a wild ride.
It has. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep asking those tough questions. Happy diving.